Patrick McEnroe. No one's ever come out and done such an entrance, but also I know your game quite well. For you to open up with the forehand,
well, you know,
your backhand was
I like to surprise you, Michael.
Right.
A little bit. Yeah.
I mean, I remember watching you, and when the ball would go to the center of the court, you would run around a forehand and hit a backhand.
Very rare to see that nowadays. But you know what? That was my one shot. I said I had one shot that made me a little bit. How much? What was your ranking again?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. I was ranked 864 in the world, my high. You were ranked.
I didn't even know they ranked people that high.
Your high was 28.
28 was a high.
Yes.
And you know what it was in doubles? How about doubles?
I do know. 3. Yes. Yeah.
Why not 2 or 1, you asked?
Yeah, why not 2 or 1?
Talk to my brother about that.
Yeah. You were 28 in the world in singles. You were 3 in the world in doubles. You longest-serving Davis Cup captain for the United States. You're now the International Tennis Hall of Fame president. How did you even get into tennis in the first place? You've done so much for the sport.
We started in a town called Douglaston. Anybody from Queens here? Not many. Yeah. So we started when we moved to this town called Douglaston. When my dad made partner in the law firm, my parents got married quite young. They lived in Flushing in an apartment.
Okay.
They kind of made it, and they moved to the kind of nicer part of Queens that had a tennis club. And the tennis club had a pool and tennis courts. And my brother was 8 or 9 at the time. And they said you could either try swimming or tennis. And he tried swimming. He hated it because he was playing other sports. We played soccer, basketball, baseball, all the sports. So he tried tennis. He went to played at the local club. After a month into the summer, the local kid, who was like a college kid, went to my parents and said, you know, your son's really got a lot of talent for tennis. He's got great hand-eye coordination. My parents were like, great. They never played tennis before in their life. No, he said, no, you need to do something about it.
Right.
So they took him to one of the first tennis academies, called the Port Washington Tennis Academy on Long Island. My parents called up there, got an invitation for a tryout to get a scholarship. John went there. There was a legendary Aussie coach there. You probably know him, Harry Hopman.
Okay, sure.
Who coached a lot of the greats from Australia, Rod Laver, John Newcomb, Lou Hode. He saw John at the tryouts, and he said, we'll take him. We're going to give him a scholarship. He's going to be #1 in the world.
Holy shit.
All right. Now, first of all, but the other part of that was that he said that to all the parents that showed up.
I was also going to say, he said that about John, but Patrick is sitting here.
Patrick's so there. He saw me playing. He says, that guy's going to be 28 in the world. I know it.
So then you saw.
So I followed in the footsteps. I'm 7 years younger than my brother. I have another brother named Mark in the middle. So we all.
Did Mark play too?
Mark played, but not very competitive.
Yeah.
I guess sort of like you.
Oh, no. Don't laugh at that. Don't laugh at that.
He was a big-time college player. No, seriously, fighting in Illini. But so we all played. We all just loved tennis.
Yeah.
We loved other sports too.
Yeah.
But it just so happened that we were a little bit better in tennis.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Let's talk briefly about the men's U.S. Open final. You were calling the match. Yes. Jannik Sinner from Italy lost to Carlos Alcaraz from Spain, who's now #1 player in the world. It was a great showdown. They played in the French Open final. They played in the Wimbledon final. What did you see in the match that blew you away?
Well, these guys are incredible athletes. I sat there courtside, Michael, 3 years ago when they played for the first time ever in a major.
Right.
And they were both, a little green. They hadn't won anything big yet.
Yeah.
But I remember saying to the guys, Chris Fowler and John, my brother John, who were in the booth, I went courtside, and I said, I've never seen two guys play at this type of speed and tempo.
Yeah.
And this is coming off of Federer and Nadal and still Djokovic, who's still out there.
Yeah.
But these guys were kind of raising the bar, so they play with amazing power. They play from defensive positions. They play more offense. And Alcaraz is like a showman. I mean, he loves to be out there. When he lost at 2 match points, when he was trying to close out the match, you feel the tension, and he smiled to the crowd.
Yeah.
And he said, we asked him about it afterwards. He said, I was actually afraid. but he smiled. He's like a smiling assassin.
That's what I've been doing wrong this whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
When I feel afraid, I shiver and I cry.
Yeah, exactly. So these two guys are just really, we had this era of the big three.
Yeah.
And we were all wondering, what's going to happen to tennis, because we're such global superstars, these players. Yeah. And Serena Williams also retiring.
Yeah.
And, these two guys have literally just taken over. They've won the last 8 majors combined between the two of them, 4 and 4. Sinner kept number 1 for the last year and a half. Now it's Alcaraz. So the real question is, can anyone else threaten them? Can anyone compete with them?
When in team sports, when a team loses in the Super Bowl, they change things. So we got to get a new quarterback,
right.
or the GM is moving things around. What can we do differently? And I'm curious what your thoughts are. Is Jannik Sinner needing to sit down and really reevaluate the whole game? I mean, he's 2 in the world. He won 2 Grand Slams. Is it that kind of approach with an individual sport like tennis?
Well, first of all, interestingly, Alcaraz said after he won the tournament in his press conference, he said he spent 15 days after Wimbledon when Sinner beat him. For the first time Sinner beat him in a final of a major, and the first time he won Wimbledon, he dethroned Alcaraz on the grass. So Alcaraz said, he hadn't said this until he won the tournament, but then he divulged that he had spent 15 days just training to beat Sinner. And Sinner afterwards, when he lost, said, what he does is so good, he's so dominant, but against Alcaraz, maybe just not quite enough. Yeah. So it's kind of fascinating to see how these two are pushing they're watching each other.
Yeah, they really are.
To see, how one can get better. Alcaraz is a little bit more of an all-around player. Mm-hmm. He's got a little more ability to come to the net, to play slice, to play drop shot. Sinner's more of a straight ahead, just pound you into the ground. So he's trying to get a little bit of that finesse into his game, which he did at the Wimbledon final, by the way. Beat him in 4 sets. But Alcaraz got him back. And I was at our tennis academy today here in New York City that my brother and I run together. And all the kids are there. They were all so happy that Alcaraz, everybody's big Alcaraz fans, because you know why? His personality and the smile.
Yeah, he's not afraid to hit it between the legs. He's not afraid to go like this to the crowd. Exactly. It's funny you talk about that focused improvement, because a few shows ago, Ronnie and I did a sports war. I thought Ronnie kind of edged me out, and I said, I will do anything I can to defeat him at today's sports war. And that's exactly what happened.
And he did. Yeah,
that's exactly what happened. And the crowd agreed.
I would say game, set, match to Kosta.
That's right.
Today.
Thank you. The women's final, I thought this was almost the story of the whole tournament, that Amanda Anisimova, an American, who lost in the Wimbledon final 6-0, 6-0, whose family flew to London to watch her in the final. She didn't even win a game. I thought it was, as someone who's lost 6-0, 6-0 a few times, not that much, for her to then beat the player that beat her, Polish Iga Świątek, make the final. I thought it was such an amazing story. And that she took some time away from the sport because of the mental health challenges and difficulties. What's your take on Amanda Anisimova?
First of all, I'm not surprised that you know how it feels to lose 6-love, Michael.
That's true.
Secondly, that really is, in all seriousness, that really is the ultimate embarrassment for a tennis player at any level if that happens. So for it to happen on the biggest tournament, the biggest match of the year.
You're supposed to win when you serve. You can't even win one game, Amanda. Yeah, right. Yeah.
So to your point, the fact that I thought she handled that with a lot of grace when it happened. And, she left the court for a couple minutes to kind of gather herself. She came back onto the on-court ceremony, was really appreciative of how well she'd done. And I think she kind of faced it head on, which I think is what helped her this summer. But you're right. She had a great tournament. By the way, this was the 4th straight tournament in the majors that there was an American woman in the final.
That's right.
Madison Keys had won in Australia. Coco Gauff won in Paris, and then Amanda gets to 2 straight finals. So she's going to get over the hump. She's going to win one, but it was a great story. But Sabalenka has been the best player all year, even though she hadn't won a major, but she'd been in 2 other finals. So I think in some ways she deserved to win and kind of solidify her spot at number 1. By the way, Sinner Alcaraz, there's still a competition through the rest of the year. Most people think that tennis is over after the U.S. Open. But these players...
Well, this crowd has stopped listening to tennis. We started talking about it.
This crowd's like, there's tennis? What's that?
There's still more, you mean to play for the year end?
To play for the year end, to finish numher 1, which is a big deal for these guys. You want to get that, I finished the year as the number 1 player in the world.
What are the differences between the mental health component nowadays versus when you played? Because I follow the sport closely, and it just feels like there's never a break for these men and women.
Right.
And you have to constantly defend the points. You have to constantly make new points. You have endorsements and deals. I mean, Naomi Osaka, every time I open up Instagram, she's endorsing something. There's a lot of people are constantly needing to see them and for them to win, and that's tough.
There's a lot of pressure, and tennis, it being such an individual sport, you can't escape it, right? So when you lose, I mean, as unsuccessful as you were, Michael, on the tour, even me at number 28 in the world, I tell this to parents all the time. I walked away from a tournament once in my life as a professional, having not lost. I only won one singles tournament.
Right.
So, and even the
what
top,
was that tournament?
That was in Sydney, Australia.
Right. Hard courts?
It was on hard courts right before the Australian Open.
Congrats on that.
Thank you, man.
That's appreciate it. Yeah, it's nice.
I mean,
It's unbelievable.
it's not sports wars, but it's something.
It's unbelievable, yeah.
But the point is that you lose a lot in tennis, so you have to deal with that. The truth is that that's been going on forever. I actually am really glad that players like Naomi Osaka, like Amanda Anisimova, are talking about mental health and making. You know, it used to be if you talked about, hey, you're a wuss.
Yeah.
You know, you don't talk about the fact that you're struggling mentally.
Yeah.
You know, that shows that you're not tough or whatever that may be.
Yeah.
So those things have always happened, but I think it's really healthy that the players are not shy about discussing it. And I think Amanda's a perfect example of someone that dealt with it, kind of confronted it head on, and then it made her, I think, a better person and a better player.
I mean, at one point, she was stepped away from the game. She was taking college classes. She was painting. And it sounds almost funny, but when you are such an accomplished junior, she won the U.S. Open Juniors against Coco Gauff at age 13.
Right.
Wow. You don't really ever have a moment to go, I need other interests and hobbies. I just thought that was an amazing story. Let's talk about the U.S. Open for a second. I love the U.S. Open. It's changed a lot over the years. The USTA is going to make $13 million just on the Honey Deuce beverage alone.
Yeah, the Honey Deuce is enough to pay for all the prize money for the players.
Yeah, right.
Or at least the winner's prize money, yeah.
I have never seen so many people who felt like, to me, they'd never watched tennis before. I watched Jannik Sinner, the world number one, waiting to serve, and have to turn around and there's a group of 45 guys doing selfies standing up during the match.
Welcome to the world.
Is this good for tennis? I feel like it's more popular, U.S. Open. I feel like it's making more money. Attendance is through the roof. Good or bad for the sport?
I think overall it's good, but I catch your drift. I mean, I'm a tennis purist. I grew up going to Forest Hills and in the little club. So I as a kid and as a fan, what I did was I got there the first couple of days of the tournament. I just run around, go from court to court, match to match. And that's what and there's still a place for that, for real tennis fans. But definitely the U.S. Open has become more about the show, the entertainment value. And the truth is, I mean, I'm a big New York Knicks fan, right? So this past year they were good. But years before that, they sucked. Right? And they're still charging a fortune for tickets, and it's all about, what you're going to eat, what you're going to drink when you're sitting in those nice, seats. But even the ones up top are super expensive. Same with the U.S. Open. How do you think those people felt, by the way?
I know.
Waiting in line as our president was getting seated in the stadium. And, no politics here for me. But I will say.
Well, politics here for us.
Yeah, exactly. Got that right. But
they bought
the match. The match
worth of
started
tickets.
45 minutes after it was supposed to start. Number one. Okay. Then the players were playing, and it was 4-3 in the first set. They've been playing for half an hour. So it was an hour and a half after, and there were still thousands of people waiting to get in.
Well, I was very thankful that ESPN covered that.
Yes.
Because so often I'm afraid that the TV program doesn't want to paint a bad light on the event that they've paid millions of dollars to cover. So I was thankful that ESPN goes, look, this is happening and it sucks. And you guys were very honest about that. One of my favorite things that you've ever said was in 1991 when you made the Australian Open semifinal. Your brother did not. And you said...
He didn't play.
You didn't play, right.
That's because they kicked him out the year before.
Correct, because he got defaulted, so he said, this tournament.
I'll let my brother go play.
But in the semifinals, you're in the semifinals, and you said to the reporters, just like you'd expect, Edberg, Lendl, McEnroe, Becker.
Correct.
You had a sense of humor, even back then. All right, real quick. We haven't had an American men win the U.S. Open since Andy Roddick, 2003. Taylor Fritz is getting close. Francis Tiafoe, great player. A lot of great American players.
Yeah, Ben Shelton, I think, maybe has the best chance.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, like, what's your thoughts on that? And, it feels like the world got a lot better also.
Yes, the world got a lot better. I ran player development for the U.S. Tennis Association for a number of years, and we tried to raise the bar on coaching, on training. I think we did that. You mentioned Amanda. I remember seeing Amanda when she was 10 years old, practicing, taking lessons. But I think we have a really good group of excellent players. Now, getting to the finish line and winning it's not like you're a football player, you're a basketball player. You could be the third best player in the league, but you're on the best team, you can win.
Right.
In tennis, you could be the third. Taylor Fritz is the fourth or fifth best tennis player on the planet.
It's crazy, yeah.
But he's got Sinner and Alcaraz, and before that, he had Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer.
Yeah. So
that's the challenge for the tennis player. These guys are amazing players. I think one of them will break through, but there's no doubt that right now it's Sinner, Alcaraz, and the rest of the pack, including Djokovic, who's at 38, was the third best player this year in the majors. But even he said, after he lost in the U.S. Open to Alcaraz, I can't beat these guys anymore.
It's crazy that a guy who made 3 semifinals in Grand Slams said it's not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
I love the sport of tennis, if you can't tell, if this audience can't tell. I'm so thankful. All day I've been telling everybody on staff, this is the most tennis this building has ever heard in its life. But I'm so thankful that we get to talk about it. The sport, as I'm now 45 years old, I'm a parent. I've got my teammates that I played with at Illinois. I just feel like the sport has given me so much. It's taught me so many things, how to deal with success, how to deal with failure, how to deal with cheating.
Were you doing the cheating or somebody else?
I did some cheating.
Okay.
I did some cheating. In junior tennis, as you know, you make your own line calls.
Yeah.
You're 12 years old. It's match point. The kid hits it on the line. It's out. Peace out. Let's go. But it also happens to you. You've had a life in tennis. What are you most thankful for with the sport? What do you feel like the sport has given you?
I think it's given me resilience, and a passion. I mean, I love it. People when I was just at our tennis academy today, right before I came here, talking to parents, talking to kids. One of the parents said, "You must be so tired." I said, "I miss it." Meaning the U.S. Open is so crazy for us at ESPN. But I love it. I've been extremely blessed. I mean, lucky to be around it and wear different hats. So I've kind of never gotten bored because I've been involved in so many different aspects of it. But like you said, it teaches you many lessons about life because most of the time you get your ass kicked.
Right.
And even when you're number 28 in the world, and even 864 in the world, actually, then you always get your ass kicked. But
weirdly, at my ranking, I would be playing in tournaments with other 864s, so I'd grind out a win. But you're at 28 in the world. You're just getting your ass handed to you actually
by
more
Andre
often
Agassi.
than me.
I remember playing Andre Agassi. This will make you feel good. On center court at the French Open, he was just destroying me. He was just running, and then by the end of the third set, it was so bad that he wasn't even trying to finish the point. He was just making me run
just like
side to side. So I had a couple of my buddies, a couple of my college buddies were there watching in the crowd. I had no coach. I know that I had my college buddies from my team at Stanford, and I looked up at them after I finally I won 1 point. I was so happy. I looked up at them. They're clapping for me. I said, I'm literally a human punching bag. Right. So you know what? It teaches you that, and the other thing about it is you see. When those players go out there and whether it's 10 people watching, whether it's 24,000 people like at the U.S. Open, I mean, you really are out there by yourself.
Yeah.
And even though you can coach now, coaching is legal now, which is good and bad. I thought Chris Everett had a great line to me during what we called the women's final. She said it's almost too much. It's almost like the players are, and so some of the players are, I think, it's a little too reliant. Yeah. But for the most part, tennis really teaches you that independence that you need. Because to really be a great coach and a great mentor, what we try to do with our kids at our academy is get them to be able to handle stuff on their own. Yeah. Isn't that what we try to do in life?
I mean, I remember playing college, losing terribly, and you could coach on the changeovers, and my coaches, Craig and Bruce, were like, hey, you really got to stay low on your forehand when he's hitting it to your forehand. And I was like, do you want to try that against this guy?
Yeah, right.
So even if you're saying it, it's hard to do it.
It's hard to do it.
Thank you so much for coming and chatting with us today. I love talking with you. Tune in to Holding Court with Patrick McEnroe on SiriusXM. Patrick McEnroe.